Believe it or not, we are 3/4 of the way through the MLB season, and things are only getting hotter from here. Joining me today on Fair or Foul are Bob Nightengale and Gabe Lacques. Welcome, you guys. Let's jump right in. So, the Yankees have been one of the hottest teams in baseball, but are still in a fight with the Rays, the A's, and the Red Sox for a playoff spot. But the pressure's on because if they do not make the postseason, this will go down as one of the most disappointing seasons in recent memory for New York. So, that being said, Bob, fair or foul, the Yankees will win the AL East?
I'll go foul. I think they get a wild card spot, maybe the number one spot. But I just think the Rays are too good. So I'll go the Rays here. Yankees are coming on strong, but I still think the Rays are a better team.
Gabe, what do you think? Fair or foul?
Yeah, I'm going to go foul with that as well. The Rays are really well put together. The Yankees are not to be underestimated at this point. They're in such a groove. They definitely have the means now after the trade deadline acquisitions of Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo to get on kind of a crazy run down the stretch. But I just think that the Rays are too well constructed and too consistent, but definitely something to be reckoned with in that wild card game. I think they can get past that and potentially give the Rays a lot of trouble in the American League Division Series.
The other New York team, the Mets, have appeared to crater after being in first place for 3 months. At the beginning of the season, everyone thought the NL East was going to be the most competitive division in baseball. Turns out it was the worst. So, Gabe, this question is for you. Fair or foul, no team in the NL East should be considered a real contender?
I'm going to go foul on that one. I'm still rolling with the Atlanta Braves. They've been on such a good run of late. Really worked aggressively to redo their outfield at the trade deadline, and they can still definitely get in there and outslug you. I think the Mets are as the saying goes, they kind of are who they really are, who we thought they were, kind of mediocre. Everything went wrong that could go wrong pretty much for the Nationals when you're talking about injuries, a couple of COVID situations that really kind of turned their season sideways. And then the Phillies, it's kind of crazy. Every year, they kind of just find their way back to the 500 mark. Not quite enough pitching. Nowadays, they're down 1 or 2 bats. The regression of Alec Baum this year has been really tough for them, both offensively and defensively. They're kind of a bat short right now, even as they've remade their typically bad bullpens. So everybody has been just not good enough, which has kind of allowed the Braves to crawl off the mat and kind of sneak back into contention there.
As far as the Mets go, we saw Steve Cohen hit Twitter with some comments for his team, and he said, "It's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive. The best teams have a more disciplined approach. The slugging and OPS numbers don't lie." So, Bob, fair or foul, is it okay for an MLB owner to say these things about his team?
It's good for the media. You don't see it.
It's great for the media.
There's another owner on Twitter. So, bad sign if you're the new Mets hitting coaches. They fired Chili Davis as assistant, back in, I think late April. And, nothing much has changed. A bad sign for Luis Rojas, the manager and his whole coaching staff, maybe the front office too. I mean, you can tell how disgruntled he is. At this point, this juncture, I'd be shocked if we don't see Theo Epstein running the whole Mets baseball front office here, come November.
One fact that is hard to stomach is that one NL East team will automatically get into the divisional series while one of the top NL West teams won't. So, Bob, fair or foul, this is the last year of a 10-team playoff format in baseball.
Yeah, that's fair. We're going to have 14 teams next year. It's what MLB wanted before. We had 16 a year ago. That was just because of the pandemic. So they're going to reward whoever has the best record with a bye, and then try to do almost like a game show thing where you get to pick who you choose. So the top seed will get to say, okay, I want to face this team. So, it's actually worked out better this year. I mean, now we're talking about, some great wild card races where either, Oakland gets left out, Yankees get left out, Boston, Toronto. In the National League, either the Padres or the Reds will get left out too. So it's actually worked out much better this year having just the 10 teams.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.